No.
Okay. Well, this is definitely our behind the scenes of Today with Pastor Jay, and I'm so excited. Look who's in the hot seat. Haven't been able to call it a hot seat for a while because I haven't been in the studio.
Yeah.
I've been sitting in my recordings, and Mark has been amazing in making sure because I've been all over the place. Um, just recently, I was at the governor's mansion and went to the White House. So, in fact, I'm going back to D.C. on Monday. Dr. Alveda King is being sworn in. She got an
Did you
appointment.
get me any memorabilia? Did you get me anything?
Yeah, I got you something.
Okay.
I didn't bring it. I should have brought it. So you
Well,
talking about from the White House?
oh, well, from her.
Oh, you want what you want? That's
I
right. You want
asked you
something
to,
for her, don't
I
you?
asked you to get a program or something signed for me.
I will get you something on Monday.
Okay.
She's coming to Flagler.
Well,
She's coming here on May the 17th for She Leads Florida.
Well, I want to meet her.
Okay, you got it. You're gonna meet her. You're coming to She Leads Florida. You will absolutely meet her, and I will
I
get
may
you.
leave with her. Maybe I can. I
I'll
can
make. I'll make up. I'll get a special meeting for you to
become
meet
part
her.
of her crew.
You can become a. You want to come with me? I'm going to DC on Monday.
You know I can't afford those kind of trips, lady.
Okay. Well, you got that huge salary from the city of Palm Coast.
Okay.
I mean, what you get now? A whole $12,000?
I know,
You don't even
I know
know?
it's not enough to retain a land use attorney from month to month. I figured that out pretty quick.
Oh my goodness. So yes, let me make myself a note. You want something from her? I can get you anything you want from her.
I just wanted something with her saying, "Hey, Mike, love you, mean it."
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I could get her to do that.
I think that'd be great.
You want a video?
I love her. I think she's a great woman.
She's gonna be here in May, so you'll get. I love her too. She's amazing. So she got an appointment to the USDA. So I'm going. I'm going up there for her swearing in.
That's great.
I don't know what she's doing yet. It's top secret until. But she's a farmer. She got me into farming, so I'm a new and beginning farmer. So she's doing a lot of things.
It's hard to grow stuff in Florida.
Yeah, I know, but I have a farming coach, so we'll see what we can do with that. All right, you ready? We're gonna go in. Mark, thank you guys for watching the behind the scenes of Today with Pastor Jay, and hopefully I won't mess up.
It's live.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. My mic wasn't on. It's on now, though. You want to try that again? Okay.
You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I've got the mayor of Palm Coast in the hot seat this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Do we call you the Honorable Michael Norris? Is that it? Are you the Honorable?
You just call me Mike.
Mike. Well, I'm going to call you the Honorable because I want to. So I'm excited. I've been trying to get you on this radio show for a while. I've been gone a lot, so it's not your fault. And we've just been kind of missing. But I'm excited to have you here today. I'm honored by your presence on Today with Pastor Jay. I know you listen to my show or at least watch it on social media sometimes.
I listen as much as I can. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I'm fun, aren't I?
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, yep. So you've been mayor for just a few months now. Let's talk about your race because it was, I don't know what to call it. All I know is you spanked your opponents. You did an awesome job. The turnout was great. Why do you think that was?
I think that everyone wanted a change. We ran a solid campaign. We started early, and we did what we had to do to win. We had a few hiccups along the way, Alan Lowe, but we just did a great job. We got our message out, and the platform didn't change from day one. I tell people that all the time. Once I wrote that platform, I didn't veer from it. And your talking points and what you want to accomplish, and we went with that. I think we did a good job.
So let's talk about your platform. So what was it when you were running, and how are you sticking to that now?
Well, I used the RAISE and the acronym RAISE. For number one, we have to revitalize our existing infrastructure, and we have to attract industrial and commercial growth. Keep our streets safe and secure. Smart growth and expansion. That's a big thing. We're about to open up the west with that loop road going in, and empowering the commercial development of town center. So we're pushing forward. We're doing what we're supposed to be doing. We got a lot coming up.
Okay.
We have to select the city manager. We have to get another person in the District 3 seat, and we also have to start up the budget cycle here shortly.
That's a lot, and I want to talk about all of those things. Let's
Yeah.
start with the city manager because, we definitely need a city manager. So what qualities are you looking for in a city manager? And it seems like Palm Coast is top heavy. We have a lot of upper level personnel, more than what was here when Jim Landon was here. So, so what kind of qualities are you looking for? And
The main thing is someone that can handle a city of this size. So
Okay.
we're close to 108,000 people. I want someone with the background in that level of government, that knows a lot about budgeting, that has those leadership traits. And one of our criteria, I think most of the people on the city council was if someone had military background, we think that's a great building block. So we're looking at those. But we narrow it down to 5 people. We have 5 quality candidates, I think, and we extended it for a month. We opened it up for a month because it was all around the holidays. So we extended it for another month, and now we've narrowed it down to 5 people. We'll have that discussion, and we'll try to narrow it down to 1 or 2, and then pick from there. It's already all on our schedules for the individual interviews, and so the public can meet the candidates, and we'll go from there.
you think you're going to get a good quality person for Palm Coast? I mean, getting a city manager has been an issue for a while.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say get one. I'm saying the big issue is keeping them.
Oh, okay.
You want someone that's got longevity,
Right.
That's willing to move. One, they have to be willing to relocate to Florida,
Of course.
because housing prices here, to begin with, are up there. So being able, having the wherewithal to pull all their, their family and stuff down here and
Who
relocate.
doesn't want to move here? I mean, this is
Yeah.
okay.
We are-
So
we
the
are-
prices are kind of high, but other than that, it's pretty.
But the schools are great too. But we are a transient state. Some people come and they find out it's not for them. We see it all the time. People moving back up north. So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll get someone that's willing to take on the challenge, and someone that has a bit of longevity. That someone wants to be here and manage, and with the capabilities of managing an organization of our size. Since 2020, we have 500 employees in 2020. It's up around 500 employees in 2020. We're at approximately 630 now, counting full-time, part-time, and seasonal. So
There's about $500 million to upgrade our utilities.
Yes.
Have you thought about bringing in an executive director or someone that can plan and spend that money appropriately? Because that's a lot to put on a city manager in conjunction with everything else.
Well, we have those guys that are in those departments, and they know how to budget, and it's just we are way behind the power curve on our water treatment, both fresh water and wastewater, not to mention our stormwater system. So we have a lot of work to do, and we're taking on a lot of debt, and people aren't happy about that, but we have to do what we have to sustain our community.
So what are we going to do about this debt? I mean, it seemed like the tax burden is on the citizens.
It is.
That's going to increase. So what kind of plans do you have, or what are you looking for to bring in economic development and some other businesses to create some additional jobs, some additional businesses to take over this burden? Because it's not fair. I mean, what's happening right now is like the people is paying for everything. This is not a good place to live.
Well,
when it comes to your pocketbook.
Well, they have this videos on YouTube of cities that aren't real cities.
Oh,
You ever seen that
I
in
haven't
Florida?
seen it. Okay.
Yeah. So Palm Coast, they say it's not a real city. Well, most cities pop up around, railroads or ports and stuff like that. There's something that draws the people into it. Well, Palm Coast was just an idea, and they built a city, you know, and the industrial growth didn't come. I actually have pictures from a magazine from 1984. And I know the lady that did the cover shot for the magazine, and she gave me all the, you know, I scanned all of them. But this was 1984, and they were talking about industry coming to Palm Coast. Well, it never came. So now we're 40 years behind the power curve as far as bringing in industry, and it's not sustainable. We are a net exporter of working class citizens every day leaving the county. We have 25,000 people leave the county every morning to go work somewhere else, and we need to flip that ratio.
How are we going to flip it?
You have to attract those industries.
And how are we going to attract them?
Well, you got to have the land, sites and buildings, and buildings. Craig McKinney, our economic development guy, he's out there pounding the pavement, trying to get organizations to come in here. I would prefer us to have, you know, the space industry, you know, the Cape's right down there.
But we're old. I mean, when you look at the average age, and I remember years ago, I was sitting in some meeting. I want to say it might have been with the chamber, because the old chamber, not the new chamber. I feel like it's the old Coke, the new Coke, the old new Coke. Anyway, the old chamber. I was on the board then, and I recall they were talking about a census about the average age in Palm Coast, and it seemed like it's just growing. Oh, how is that going to attract businesses to come here when, with respect, I mean, we're dying out. Well, we don't even have a birthing unit here. No one's coming here to have babies. Yes. You know, we're building nursing homes and senior centers and things like that.
Well, we've had that discussion with the hospital too, and they said we don't have the need for it. You got to have that, you got to have a more dense population for them to bring in those services, and I understand that because you have to stand up an entire maternity ward and all the doctors and nurses and stuff that go along with it. But I think I am Palm Coast. I'm 55. Average age in Palm Coast is 55 years old, and regardless of what they say, only a third of the population is 55, 65 and older. So we do have younger people here. You know, we have the work.
They're just working outside of the county
because it's not here.
Right.
And we are at
and that's been a problem for a very long time. Very long time. Do you feel like now that you're mayor, everyone's blaming you for problems that were here before you got here? How do you deal with that? Because now, I mean, you've been mayor just for a few months, under a year, and everybody's like, you know, come on now, Mayor Norris, fix this like you have a magic wand.
Well, it's not a magic wand. We had one gentleman, we decided, and we voted and passed it to rename the community wing after Mayor Netz.
Right.
And it's not automatic. Government doesn't work like that. It doesn't move that fast. So you gotta keep plucking at it and do what you can. But we got to flip the script, though. We're at a 90-10 split on single-family residents or homeowners paying the tax burden, and we have to attract. We have to do everything we can to attract industry and commercial growth here.
Do you believe you have the right people in place to do that? You're just lacking a city manager.
Well, we haven't done. The city's never done a lot of industrial. So we need a city manager that can guide the ship concerning that, you know, knows how to
that have those relationships, not just have the knowledge, but also have the relationships within industries and have the relationships with other people they can call upon with expertise. You know, can't just hire anybody. Look, I have this thing. I've got a guy. In all my dealings and all the things that I do, I have a guy. I have a guy for this. I have a guy for that. I have a guy, you know, for all those things. So we need a city manager to have a list of guys.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
More than what we have here in Palm Coast. We're going to talk a little bit more about some other things. I want to talk about the water treatment plant. I don't know what's going on in Palm Coast with the water. Don't go anywhere, guys. Don't touch that dial. You are listening to Today with Pastor J.
My hearing's.
Oh, that's right.
And if I have feedback, I can't.
That's okay. You don't have to wear.
I have no depth perception either. Have sciatica.
What does that mean? So if I were to punch you, you wouldn't know how close I was to you?
Well,
you wouldn't be able to dodge.
Probably not. Don't let that get out on the street. Somebody might swing at me.
It's all already out on the street. I'm pretty sure you're quick.
Yeah.
I think you can handle that. All right, you ready? Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay, and I have the Honorable Michael Norris here, the mayor of Palm Coast. So very excited to have him here on the show. Can you explain the deal with the wastewater treatment plant? It's like when I listen to the meetings, in Palm Coast, and I read the stuff in the media, it's almost like you have to have a degree in stuff. And stuff, I don't know what the stuff is because it's so hard to understand and to explain. I had a phone call from somebody telling us that, the wells and stuff that's in Palm Coast, the water is on somebody else's land. I mean, I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's true. And now we've got this the wastewater treatment plant. Can you explain what's going on with that?
Well, all the wells, I think once we rehab a couple, we're going to have like 73 that are functioning because you have to go through and you have to rehab them if they're not producing. You may have to go deeper, and it's a complicated process because you're producing safe water and you're treating wastewater to let it back out into the environment. Our biggest problem during that last storm was our piping is older in the city, and it's called inundation. So whenever the ground is saturated, all that water gets into the lines and it goes to the wastewater treatment facilities. And during Milton, it was overwhelmed. We were inundated with water for like 2 weeks straight, and then we got that storm. So all that water, we don't have the capability to process it all or to store it. And one of our asks is to help us get an EQ tank to help hold that water until we can treat it. And it's a very complicated process. We have a lot of issues upgrading the system, more advanced technology to process the water and stuff like that. But it's very costly, and we haven't done leaning forward enough throughout the last couple of decades because we're only 25 years old. We haven't leaned forward and put those resources towards, bringing those up. So the current plan is to get it up to just what we have now.
Right.
The people, the residents, and the housing and all the stuff that we have now. We have 19,000 houses in the queue.
Where's all the land for the industry? Do we have any land for that?
It's all been upzoned to residential. And
What?
I just had
wait a minute, hold on. So we need industry, but the majority of the land that we have in Palm Coast is for residential housing.
it's been upzoned to residential housing over the years, and that's not a good thing. But everyone thought this was just going to be a retirement community, and that was the mindset. But it's not like that anymore. We have all these people coming into the state. Not only do they
And
need
Palm
housing.
Coast is attractive.
Yeah.
I saw, my daughter sent me something in one of the newspaper that the Ritz-Carlton is planning on
Yes,
building
That's
some
out in-
condos by the hammock.
it's out in the hammock. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that yesterday, which is a good thing as far as tourism and bringing more money in. As far as bed tax and stuff like that. But it brings in more people. So, but it's not in our city.
It's not in the city, but it's going to affect the city of
yeah.
Palm Coast. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah.
The traffic is
And
absolutely.
we're doing everything we can. We're trying to get more turn lanes in. State Road. Everyone has to understand. State Road 100 is controlled. The lights are the main thing that people have an issue with. And right now, unless it's changed, and I haven't been told about it, DOT has control of those lights because of all that construction they're doing. So the city's not managing those lights right now. But during the holidays, we did have them try to convert and do more work at night and better timing on the lights. But the city is not in control of that construction project nor the lights at this time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A lot
Well,
of
I've
people.
said it a few times. It's just people don't pass the information and,
Okay.
aren't staying on top of it. I got a few emails about, the lights are, well, we've said that in city council that we don't have control of the lights
Well,
right now.
speaking of emails, I can't imagine people just sending emails all the time thinking that stuff is the city's responsibility when it's absolutely the county's responsibility. So it kind of get lost in the mix.
Yeah.
And you've have you spent a great deal of time having to educate citizens about that?
Well, yes, yes. I think I can plainly explain things to most people if I'm given a minute. You know, so we're doing the best we can. We got some great employees in the city that are doing great things, but we need that leadership to push us forward and get us where we need to be.
I hear that there's a new fuel storage facility that's being proposed for Palm Coast.
Yes.
Is that true? I mean,
Well,
it's being proposed.
it came down.
Is this a good thing or
Well,
bad thing?
for economic impact towards the community, yes, as far as people concerned about environmental and, safety and stuff like
man.
that. That's the
You
biggest.
think we're going to
concern.
have some big environmental push? People out there
Well,
with signs? That's all we need, right?
We had that at the city council meeting. Well, what it is Belvedere is trying to find a facility, and it's a strategic. It would be a strategic asset for the state because all the fuel that comes into the state comes in by ship, and we need that storage facilities along the rail so we don't have to depend on that. Because if we have a major storm, the shipping lanes are shut down, and we could be out of fuel in a small amount of time. Well, the whole thing about Belvedere, a lot of people don't know that they have a CR 2209 that is going to run from Orlando to Jacksonville.
Oh, I
on
don't
the
know
west
what that
side.
is. I'm sorry.
It's a county road 2209.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So that's the whole. That's why we got the support and the money for that loop road, because that
Okay.
loop road's going to loop out to on the west from Matanzas and come
My
back.
mind
around
went
the
blank. You was like CRT. I was like, what are you talking about? Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, they're
Right, the
they're
county
opening
road.
up a major thoroughfare. They're going to
Okay.
open up a major thoroughfare in the state, and we need to support that economic growth that's going to happen out there, and the ingress and egress from the state, because we know if there's a fatality accident from US 1 down the Old Dixie Highway, anywhere along that stretch of highway, they're going to shut down the highway both directions. And we have plenty of problems out there already. But that loop road is going to give us access on the west side to go north or south from Orlando to Jacksonville. And we need to be able to support that. But they're going to go through and we're going to do some more analysis and see if it's feasible. If it's not feasible, hopefully it can stay in the county and help support the strategic planning of the state.
All right, guys, we got to take another break. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial. How much time I have?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Ooh, I might have 2 questions. I text myself this morning, but I don't remember what it is. My mind just went blank. All right, Ready will come back in, and I will try to remember or figure it out what I was supposed to ask you. Okay, you ready?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay, I'm ready. I want to give a thank you and a shout out to Church on the Rock. Thank you so very much for sponsoring Today with Pastor Jay, and reminding everyone immediately after my show, you can hear me preach the word of God. So how cool is that? Which you're a wonderful man of faith, you and your family.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So thank you for that you're a lover of Jesus Christ. So there is an empty seat on the city council, I hear.
Yes, ma'am.
And interviews have already been started. And I know you can't tell me if you have a favorite, but one of my very favorite people in the whole wide world is David Sullivan. And he threw his hat in, which I think is awesome. So I'm not talking to you, Mayor. I'm talking to the community right now. I need you guys to go and offer some support, because I think the council would benefit from his wisdom and his knowledge. He was on the county commission for several years. I mean, he's a military man, but he's just a wise guy. And so what do you think about those that have put their hat in so far? I mean, I know
Well, we interviewed 10 people.
10.
10 people
I
within the
should have
community.
applied. Everybody was applying for that job.
But we interviewed 10. I think we did a great job on the interview. Up front, I said, "Hey, this is all our seats are nonpartisan." So
Okay.
I didn't want that partisan rancor from the last time they selected. I briefed them on that. It's like, leave the politics out of it. It's nonpartisan positions, and everyone stuck to their questions. And the question I ask is always the same because I did selections for OCS and warrant officer school and stuff like that. I used to have to do those interviews. So
Right. I'm
Yeah.
going to pause you there for a
Yeah.
second because you say it's a nonpartisan race, but it was partisan to you when you were running.
no, I ran a nonpartisan campaign.
Right. But you let your conservative values and all that
Well,
stuff be known.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't change that.
Okay. Okay. All right.
But they're nonpartisan positions, and I didn't want that. And I think everyone.
Okay. I got
think,
that.
Because you have to represent all the people, and my values are my values. They're not going to change. Well, we have them, and we'll have a discussion. I think the 8th we will discuss it, and then on the 15th, I think we'll make the selection.
You think it's going to be tough?
No, I've already narrowed it down to 2 people.
Really? That's good. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look at the interviews and see how things are going.
Yeah.
And how about the other councilmen and women? You think that they've narrowed it down? You don't know.
I don't know, but I would assume
Okay.
they may have their favorites. I don't know. We can't discuss it until we get back to the city council meeting.
Last question, because I know we got to go. But what is your favorite thing about being mayor of Palm Coast?
I can tell you my
Don't-
least favorite thing. Well, this is really
Right.
true. This is really true, Pastor Jay.
Uh-huh.
The more people, the larger your circle, the
Mm-hmm.
more people you know, the more people you know that pass away.
Mm.
And I tell even Kendra and
Mm-hmm.
Shira up in office, I am surrounded by death,
Mm.
and I don't like that feeling. My favorite thing about being mayor is trying to guide the community.
Okay.
We have a great community here,
And you have a lot of support.
Yeah.
People that's standing behind you.
Yeah.
You speak your mind,
Yeah.
which probably most people aren't used to.
Well, I think I'm plain spoken,
Mm-hmm.
and I can be negotiated with, but I'm going to stand firm in what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And we're this is a big city now,
It is.
and we got a lot of moving parts, and we got a lot of constituents, and I have office hours, so my office hours are.
I saw that
are-
you took office hours. Are you excited to be able to engage with the community like that and hear their feedback?
Well, it's great because sometimes I can help people, sometimes I can't. I had a lady come in yesterday, and she has a problem with her property taxes.
Everybody have a problem with their property taxes.
There's not much I can do, but I can sit down and I can pull up their trim notice and explain to them. There's one lady came in and I was explaining to her, and I pulled up her property up in Maryland where she came from, and I'm like, you're actually paying less in property taxes here than you were up there.
Okay.
And explaining things like the city utility bill.
Oh.
Because everybody says it's my water bill. Well, it's not your water bill.
That bill is crazy. Someone told me it's twice what their light bill is.
Yep. Sometimes it runs into that. And
Why?
because you have all those additional fees on there. You have stormwater, you have garbage, you have your base use, your base waste, all those different charges on there, and you have to break it down and say, okay, well, I'm paying $32 a month for trash. And we may be able to do that. We may be able to shift some of those fees over to your non-ad valorem. Try to where it's not hitting you in the face every month when you get that bill. But there's a lot that goes into
Any
it.
way to lower it in any kind of way?
Well, that's what we're doing now. We're doing an increase. We can't lower it when we're going to be raising it 31% up until 2029.
Wow. Well,
It's getting to be
It's-
expensive, and it's because we're behind a power curve on
On
you
a
know,
lot of
bringing up our
things.
systems, and you know, you can't. I guess you can't blame the past anymore. You got to move forward and do what's best for the community.
Well, I wish you luck, and I'll be praying for you and for those that live in Palm Coast. Thankfully, I live in the great city of Bunnell now. I don't have to deal with that. So, but God bless you, and thank you so very much for coming on the show.
No, thank you.
All right, guys, you know what I say? Yesterday's gone. Tomorrow's not promised. What are you going to do today? Today, I suggest you become informed. If you live in the city of Palm Coast, ask questions. The mayor have office hours. Go to the city council meetings and engage. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I was going to ask. Okay, I was going to ask if you had a Doge system. So,
Well, I would love to have them come down and do the city from the state level.
Won't you do it? Go ahead on and Doge something out. I mean,
Well,
look in there and see if there's something that you can get rid of. Trim the fat somewhere, and then maybe we can shuffle it a little bit.
Well, we're doing what we can. There's been some issues, but if we can get rid of waste and
Right.
fraud and stuff like that, we'll do it. Because I think a lot of us are staying on top of it.
Okay, that's good.
The more engaged you are, the more people are bringing stuff to our attention.
Listen, some of the citizens in Palm Coast, they're like the Doge committee. I mean,
Yeah.
they will go through the fine lines and look at the budget and say, do we really need that?
Well, it's going to take a lot of negotiation during this budget cycle, because there's some things that we can't just keep growing government
Right.
to grow the government. The major employer here in this county is government at some level, school, county, city,
Right.
and then the hospitals after that, and then maybe construction after that. So
Yeah, government.
I
that's
am
a lot.
am not about growing the government. If you can trim the fat, trim the fat.
And if Elon was here, he'd probably go in there and say, we don't need these positions and get rid of a few people. Not that you can fire anyone because you don't have that ability, but the new city manager could come in and say,
A reorganization.
and say, we may not need some of these things.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we get a good city manager there.
There's a few good prospects in there, so we'll see how it goes. I think I've narrowed it down to maybe one or two on that list too.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you. I'm not going to ask you.
No.
Because, anything that you do you feel like you get a lot of opposition from those that are on the council?
No, I think everyone's willing to compromise.
Okay,
so
that's
far
good.
it's been like that.
That's
so.
good. That's good.
But you got to work it out. We can sit there, and we've changed it so we have 4 meetings now.
Okay.
So you have 2 in the day, 2 at night.
Right.
And those workshops are great because you can
Hash out a lot of stuff and
you
discuss
can
a lot of things.
I call it war gaming. You can war game it, and it's open communication because that's the only time we can speak.
Okay,
you
gotcha.
know, about business.
Right,
you know.
yeah. And that's important because you got to be able to kind of get into it. So I'm glad that you guys changed it to that. That's kind of cool.
And that was from, I was hoping to move all the meetings tonight, but everybody, we need a daytime meeting too. But you see the number of people that show up at comparing day and night. Far less people come during the day because everybody's out working trying to feed their family.
Well, here, that's a good thing, though. You know why? Because that gives you another opportunity to discuss things.
Yeah.
Without people coming to the podium all the time. Those night meetings sometimes can go on forever, especially if someone has a problem.
Yeah, I think we had a record-setting meeting. It was a workshop where we were talking about the comprehensive plan and all that stuff like that. So it was a long meeting. We went a long time. I think from 9 to like 3 o'clock. Yeah, it was a long meeting.
Oh my goodness!
But that's when you iron things out. You have to be able to discuss it and legislate. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
That's what you're hired to do. So.
That's interesting. Are you still excited about being mayor?
Yeah,
Is it what you thought it was?
I don't like getting beat up just for trying to do the right things.
Well,
so.
guess what? Politics is a blood sport. You hadn't figured it out.
Yeah,
it is a blood sport.
Yeah, I know it. It's just I'm more worried about Tracy and you know.
Oh,
And she's
yeah.
off social media now, so she's like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it is tough on families. I don't think people realize, the spouses and the children when they're having to deal with the backlash, and especially those that are close to you that know your heart. My husband, although I'm not in politics, but I get involved somewhat. I get some backlashes, and people don't realize my husband. He's a ninja. You come after his wife, you're on a list forever.
Oh yeah, I
For
get it.
real.
Yeah.
He
Well-
and whether or not you on the he gonna burn your house down with you on in it list or flatten your tire list, he'd tell people real quick, I'm not, my wife loved Jesus more than me or something. He's funny like that. He's not gonna do anything, but you're still on the list.
Well,
He may not pick you up if you're on the side of the road.
the one that got me the most was when they were attacking Christian. A Christian saying that he had a Facebook, profile, and he was.
He doesn't
being
have time for that.
Well, Christians in Guam on a nuke sub under the ocean most of the time.
Not only does he not have time for that, that's not even in his character to do.
No, he wouldn't do anything like that. So I'm like, and Sean's like, I don't even live there. He's
Yeah.
up in Tallahassee. He's like, I don't even live there. I'm not concerned with politics in Flagler County. So, but it comes with the turf. I guess I'm doing the best I can and trying to help the citizens of the city out. So, you can only do what you can do. It's five people.
One
people
thing
making
for
this
sure,
decision.
you are not a politician.
That's a good thing.
You don't play those political games.
No.
I was surprised to hear, but not really surprised that you didn't go to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
I didn't exactly hear your reason why you didn't go to Tallahassee. What's the rest
Well,
of the
we had already spoken to our legislative delegation.
Okay.
Senator Leak, Representative Greco, we'd already done that. We have paid lobbyists in Tallahassee, and I had an AHAC meeting, which is the Affordable Housing Advisory meeting on
Right.
that Wednesday.
Does
and
the
then
city have to cover the cost for that when you guys travel up
Yeah.
there and everything?
Yeah, and I really don't like staying in hotel rooms because of all the traveling and stuff I've done. I don't care for it, but we have the guys that went up there, they did what they were supposed to do. They already have our ask laid out, and as far as getting them into some legislation and getting it passed, people have to understand. The last I heard, they were only going to have maybe $550 million towards capital improvement projects, and you got to think about that. That's $550 million or $500 million. You have 67 counties in the state,
Right.
and you have
You didn't
all the
think you needed
cities
to
in
just show up just to show up, and that's probably a political thing. And since you're not a
Yeah.
politician, you wouldn't have understood that.
Yeah.
That sometimes you just have to go to be seen.
Well, I don't think our representatives are up there to represent us, and I don't think I need to go up there in glad hand when I can call them on the phone and say this is what we need. And I really don't. I don't like wasting money. I will not even buy a paperclip for the city, for the office.
You'll probably got boxes of them in there anyway.
Yeah, they tried. They sent me. They wanted me to join this National Mayors Association or something, and I was asking Kentner, and she's like, "It's $10,000." I'm like, "I'm not spending $10,000 of the city's money for a mayors association. I'm not doing it. That money's better spent elsewhere."
You're new, and this just to politics in a way because you never run for office before. You had just a deep passion to help your community. That's completely evident. In leadership, I've realized that sometimes people need something extra more. Have you considered, and this is completely off, maybe getting a mentor or someone else that maybe run a city? I see they do stuff like that in school board. I know Jill Woolbright, the Honorable Jill Woolbright.
Yeah.
She had a mentor that was someone else that was in the school board somewhere else that kind of helped. Have you considered that? Do they do that for mayors? I don't even know.
Well,
Because I can imagine it would be stressful. You can't talk to your other, councilmen about things. So to have someone that understands and bounce ideas off, that's a safe place, right?
Well, I have plenty of advisors.
Okay.
Okay,
that's good.
Well, when I did my my initial platform meeting, there was like 11, 12 people at that meeting. I have non-disclosure agreements with like at least
Do you
11
really?
people that
That's
were there
good.
when I formed the platform, and the majority of them
Good.
were from the Republican Executive Committee. Believe it or not, I know I'm not the most popular person there, but they certainly, the people that support
Who wants
me-
to be popular? Be legendary. Be a legend.
but for a good reason, not a bad reason.
Of course. Right.
But I think I have advisors. I have quite a few. Some are closer than others,
Okay.
but I still have my core
Group of people. That's
have
good.
been fighting for me the whole time. And we had a get together
That's good.
a
That's
couple
important.
of weeks ago at my house. We had a decent little party, and everybody came over, and we bounced some things off of one another, and but
That's good.
but
It's good to have that, and you need to have that
Yeah.
outlet, because I can imagine they always say that it's lonely at the top, right? But it really shouldn't be.
yeah.
And I'm glad you surrounded yourself with people that you can trust.
Yeah.
That's something that Trump has done. People don't like his picks, but he's big on loyalty right now.
He rewards loyalty, that's for sure.
He does. He really and truly does. Do you see yourself as a one-term mayor?
I don't know.
You don't know right now? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, keep
Well,
up the fight.
We'll have to see what happens with this one.
We'll have to. Oh, okay.
If they don't kick me out of office.
They're not gonna kick you out of all. I didn't want to talk about any of the stuff that was going on. People trying to kick, but that's anywhere though.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you do. There's always a group of people that want to kick. I'm sure I have people right now that's trying to cancel me on the radio.
Well,
So
You got
that's
that-
anywhere
you
and
got-
anything.
you got to
But
think
they can't do that.
you got to think about that. A few weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Pierre about this earlier. We had the Home Builders Association lay siege to City Hall.
Wow.
They surrounded our whole block with vehicles from the
Mm-hmm.
construction industry. So,
Mm.
just the mere mention of a moratorium, and
People freak out.
yeah, but we can't. Right now, we are in an unsustainable pattern.
That's true.
For
That is true.
as for our wastewater and water treatment.
That
It-
is
it's unsustainable
unsustainable.
unless it's going to be very costly. And I even said from the dais that, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your water bill could be $500.
Wow.
Really, you got people now that's paying, and a lot of it people don't understand.
I would be in trouble because
Leaks and stuff like
I love
that.
taking baths, and I take a bath every night.
But leaks and stuff with these slab houses, if
Mm-hmm.
you have a leak in your foundation, the pipes in your foundation, that's a big deal. And we had one lady, contact me. She had a leak, and her bill was like $3,000 or $4,000.
A month?
Well, that one bill because of the leak.
Oh my!
Yeah.
Goodness.
So you have to stay on top of it, and it's tough. It's tough dealing with those kind of prices because we have a lot of people on fixed incomes.
I wonder if the people in the construction industry that building all these homes, that's all excited about the money that they're making, do they actually even live in the city of Palm Coast? Yeah, I would be curious. Those that's willing and dealing behind the scenes, they're living somewhere else where the taxes is lower.
Well,
They're not really
we have pretty low taxes though, if you think about it.
Okay.
But outside construction workers and stuff, I would assume, what I say about assumptions, but a lot of construction workers may not even live in this county because it's hard. We don't have affordable housing for teachers, firefighters, police officers, and stuff
That's
like that.
true.
And construction workers, people, then a lot of it depends heavy on illegal immigrants.
Well, I got a minute. Can I still talk? Okay. I'm glad you mentioned illegal immigrants because a couple of things. I was speaking with my husband, and when you think about construction jobs, jobs in the hospitality, hotel industry, all these other places, even in the restaurants now, when you go to apply for a job, they want you to speak Spanish. What kind of foolishness is this?
I think President Trump made the official language of the United States English.
Yeah, but it's almost as though they're speaking these other languages, and they're getting jobs. And then when Americans that speak English apply for these jobs, they have on there, do you speak Spanish? Do you speak another language? It's almost as though it's a prerequisite. We've got to come back from that. The other thing that really gets me about the illegal immigration, people get so concerned about, who's going to do construction? Who's going to pick the farms? You know what that reminds me of? When they tried to end slavery. Who's going to pick the cotton? Who's going to... I mean, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, if
it will work itself out, I'm sure.
We know, like roofing. If you've ever had a roof redone, you know, you pay one guy. You're paying one guy. His subcontractors. You know, all the guys. Actually, when we were doing our roof, it was in the summer, but the guy had his kid out there, like 13-year-old kid on top of a roof.
Wow.
But you know, you pay one guy, and then he has his subcontractors, his 1099 employees, you know.
Right.
And he may not even be paying them legally. They may not even, you know, don't ask anybody for, you know, documentation saying that they're legal while they're working on your house, because it might not get done.
Oh, wow. Is
So,
that bad?
Well,
It could be, and it has been, I'm sure.
yeah. But, well, even when they came through a couple of years ago, when they were saying, when
Right.
the governor passed that law, you know, like construction stopped for a minute. You know, like everybody's trying to figure it out. People were, you know, people are leaving.
Abolish slavery. Who's going to pick the cotton?
Well, you're going to pay more to have your cotton picked. That's what's going to happen, because you got to pay the people, you know, to do the work.
Well, you need to pay. Some of them are being paid below wages anyway, and then these big companies are, you know, making fat checks. So come on, it's got to balance out.
Yeah.
One way or another. Representative Kion Michael out of Jacksonville. She's one of my very good friends, and she has an illegal immigration bill that she's trying to get passed now in the House, that they've given her a problem. Now, her son was killed by a twice deported illegal immigrant. And I guess she sent a letter.
Well, Jacksonville just passed a bill. I don't know how their government works up there, but
Yeah,
they
she
said
talked
they passed
about
a bill,
the Jacksonville Illegal Immigration Enforcement Act.
and the mayor Deegan yesterday said she wouldn't sign it and she wouldn't veto it, meaning it'll go into effect.
Wow.
So you're not. So it's all, you know, what is that called? Virtue signaling, I guess. But it's going to go into effect in Jacksonville,
Right.
to help facilitate.
Yeah. Well, she was just expressing her unwavering support for the Jackson Illegal Immigration Enforcement Act.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a timely piece of legislation. I mean, her son was killed by a twice deported illegal immigrant. That's just crazy.
It's all perspective, right?
Yeah. People don't think about, you know, I always say, we're going to go, people have problems with, it's called illegal immigration.
Yeah.
As American citizens, if we do something illegal, we get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
We don't have rights. I was listening to the radio the other day, and someone was complaining about rights for illegal immigrants. And I'm going, when we go to other countries, we don't have rights over there. How do people come over here and have rights? I don't understand it. I'm trying to, and I'm compassionate. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I'm extremely compassionate. And I'll just end on this note. Even heaven has a gate. Let's just say that.
There you go.
There's a border in heaven. Everybody can't go.
Yes.
Everyone cannot go.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone can't go. Even heaven has a gate. There's a border there. How about that?
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
Thank you so much for this candid conversation. The behind the scenes, after the behind the scenes, it's been great. You can come back anytime you desire and want to. Appreciate having you.
All right. I got
you gotta go. You got office hours?
I got office hours. My office hours are from 10 to 3 Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, pretty good. All right. You take care.